Welcome to the History Hunter. Welcome to our Small Explorers with the World War II time frame. Today, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to see something absolutely spectacular. Today is all about a battle for a bridge. The Germans came in here, the local army was here, and the clash was on. And there is also something absolutely spectacular up in the mountainside that we were just totally blown away to see. So, why don't you join us? Let's go out and find that history right now. At the beginning of the war, Germany invaded tons of locations all over Europe. And this is a bridge that the Germans needed to cross to get control of a lot of very special infrastructure in the area. Today's story is about bravery, it's about heroes, but also about how to actually not being able to withstand the massive power that the German war machine actually was. This was the only road that was here during those days, and this is the road that the Germans had to come through because they needed to get over this bridge and they needed to cross this massive river in an attempt to secure some of the infrastructure fortresses that was along the road further down here in this area. And this was where the local army was actually waiting for them, and that was something that the Germans did not anticipate. This is part of Eagle-Ice's, my son's, touching history tour, and this is something that he researched, something that he dug into, and this is something that he learned me about. And I'm so proud of that, and this is going to be very, very exciting.
Thank you for letting me go to all these areas, and thank you for letting me learn and see history.
Absolutely, this is all about learning and studying history, and I'm so surprised that Eagle-Eyes caught up on this little story because we're passing through this area and we just had to do even more research, and then now we are here. So let us set you up with what is going on here. Germans came with 11 buses from this side. On this side, this is where the local army was, and the local army was anticipating the German move. And when the 11 buses came driving up this road to pass this bridge peacefully, well, that's when all hell broke loose. Today, the new bridge is over there, but this was, as I said, the only crossing point in this area, and it was very, very important that the Germans could, as quickly as possible, cross the bridge and then grab hold of what they needed to take control of, which is kind of on the other side, further down the valley here. You can see for yourself that this area here is very, very steep. It's just like 90 degrees angles from the water and up. Everything is just boom. You cannot cross no matter what. And this was April. The ice was still on the river, and there was no other way than to pass the bridge. So we are now looking back to the area where the local army hid, and you can see it's just as it just drops down like that. But the local army, they hid up here in the mountainside. They hid up here where you see some cliffs and the forest, all of that. They had perfect protection on the hillsides here, and this is basically what happened. They were waiting here. The Germans tried to pass over this bridge, and then when the Germans came to the right point, the local army started firing at the Germans. So now you can see the mighty river unfolding down there. And as you can see, it's really flowing very, very fast. And in here, there are some insane currents going around, and you can imagine how intimidating that would be, because something really special happened here. This is where they parked the buses, and I have actually image, a tiny little, not so clear image of what exactly happened. Let me show you that. Is that crazy? What? Imagine the Germans in 11 buses coming here expecting nothing, and then being hammered with machine guns and rifles, and the Germans had to retreat and retreat and retreat. And this played out over and over and over again. And if I take you onto this side of the river and the bridge, you can see there is no way to pass here, no way whatsoever. But the ice was actually here, and the ice was kind of like a last resort that the Germans could attempt to kind of traverse through on. And that is exactly what they did. Actually, the Germans went down here. It was ice sheet all over, and they thought they could cross that. But the local army was pretty clever. They said, let's get hold of the dam master, which is just a bit over there. And the dam master got the notification that he was to flood out water into the river so the ice sheet would move. And that's exactly what happened. And many of the Germans died as a result of that. Can you imagine being some of the German troops that fell into that river? Can you imagine how horrific and just terrifying that must be? And there's no hope. There's no way you're going to get into the shores. They're so steep. The current keeps you in the center. That must have been just so horrifying. In the meantime, the local army is firing like crazy over here. They're spending thousands of rounds all over here, and they are fighting for hours after hours after hours, and they're just hammering towards the Germans. So during the day, the Germans attempted over and over and over again to cross. The buses were still standing there, peppered and hammered down with machine gun, the sprays of the machine gun and all of that. And in the meantime, the Germans are regrouping, and they're getting more and more firepower, more and more men, and they're bringing up mortars, they're bringing up guns, and then it really starts to get wild. And that huge surge of German forces coming here, they went up to the hill, they went here, they went further up, and they tried many different things to do. Also, there is a railroad bridge much further up, and the Germans started to figure out what to do here. But the sheer manpower of the Germans managed finally to push over the bridge. And that is the time when the local army started to retreat. So within a few hours after the completion of getting over, there were several thousands of Germans coming this way. So in the beginning, there was just a few hundred, and then they collected thousands. The Luftwaffe was also on their way to help out with the task here, but I actually don't know exactly if the Luftwaffe ever engaged. So just imagine being one of these guys. They're fighting so intensely to try and achieve their goal. On both sides, they wanted to prevent the Germans to come over. They wanted to cross the bridge. Absolutely incredible story taking part right here. Let's go over to where the buses stood and check that out. Did you know that you can become a World War II History Hunter team member, and the artifacts here could be passed on to you in this manner and fashion here by creating beautiful World War II dioramas and displays? You can be the future keeper of something very special by the history and the history hunting that we share together. Check out the link in the video description. You can click that and you can become a Patreon team member if you want to. Different kind of perks with for your eyes only videos, travel vlogs, restoration projects, all of that good stuff. And if you want to know more, check out the supporter videos in the beginning of each month. But now let's continue our little adventure. The local army tried twice to blast the bridge. The first attempt was total failure. Second attempt, one of the guys actually ran out, tried to light this fuse and got back, but actually didn't do any much damage. So if the bridge has been blown, or would have been completely blown, I think the outcome of what took place in this region would be totally different. But it's a bit sad to know that that wasn't a success. Eli's, this is his touching history tour, and he said he wanted to touch, the bridge and everything, because he's the guy who read up on that. See that? Huge steel thing. He did all the reading up on this, and he wanted to touch history in a very special way. So this is about where the first bus came, as you saw on this photo. And we were just thinking, is it possible to see any of the traces of the machine guns being fired? Did they hit the rock sides here? Can you really see that? Because we have found like bunkers where you can really see where the spray of the bullets came in, and it's not easy. I can really not say if there are any markings here. But sometimes in battle zones and battle situations like this, you can actually, even if you go up with a pinpointer or a metal detector, you can actually find bullet tips embedded into the mountainside. As I said, I really don't know whether that is the case here, but it's exciting to just have a little look and see if you can find any traces of that. It's a very special story about something that took place on the first wave. The first buses that came here, one of the drivers were a local guy that was kind of, you know, the Germans just said, drive. And the local army started the firing over here. And the only person that survived that first wave of the bullets coming in was the bus driver. He immediately jumped to the right-hand side of the engine case. You know, on the old buses, there would be an engine case next to the driver. He jumped into that, behind that, and that's the only guy to survive. When he saw that the firing kind of stopped a little bit, and he ran off, and he actually survived. So what an absolutely spectacular story, huh? So this is the view that the Germans would have had. Coming down here, just knowing nothing, they're ready to go over and cross the bridge, and then from the hillside up there, they fired crazy, you know, over here. Oh, this is so exciting. I really am so happy that Eagle Eyes found this place and that we can share it with you, because it's absolutely spectacular to be here. But there is something also here that we want to show you, which is a totally different story, but that is even more interesting. So let's go up there and show that to you. It's a very special feature here that Eagle Eyes is looking at, and that is a rifle gallery. See that? That is actually something that was built even before the First World War. And in a way you could say, why didn't the locals use that to protect themselves against the Germans? Well, that's because the Germans didn't come from that direction. They came from this direction where the gallery, the rifle gallery is. But we thought that we wanted to share what's up there with you and take a look at it. And in that way, you also get a view from the bridge up there at the rifle gallery. This rifle gallery was intended for another enemy that this region kind of was anticipating could attack. And they would come from the other side of the bridge where the local army fought, or they were when they fought the Germans. And that is why it's pointing that direction. And this is what an exciting place. I just have to say, absolutely incredible to see what they did. And it's going to be so cool to see how they implemented the fence system there into the mountainside. Well, while we're at this location, I just want to say a special thank you to some people. We have this super thanks feature here. That is basically your opportunity to help us out, get some gasoline into the fuel tank, go out and find incredible locations like this. I promised I will bring this paper, this list of all of you who helped us out on the super thanks feature before we left. I was supposed to have that in my hand out there, but unfortunately I actually lost one of the copies that I had, so I have to do it here. But each and every one of you helped us out with a special little donation on the super thanks feature, and we just wanted to say thank you for that. And you are now historical, because every time if you want to watch this video, you can see that you helped out to get us out there at this incredible location. And we just wanted to say a little special thank you to each and every one of you, because you are the guys and girls who help us to go out and share more. All right, let's continue this little adventure. Wow, look at that. This is the entrance area to the rifle gallery. And you can see they made this wall here. And I'm guessing that's a machine gun position that you can have pointing that way. Wow, it's a substantial piece of work it seems to be. So wow, let's go down and check that out. Wow, Eagle Eye is in that little position. You can see these walls here. They really knew exactly where they needed to have their defenses. And wow, that river is raging. And again, you can see the bridge from here. Just imagine those poor souls, the German soldiers, trying to go on the ice sheets and then being flipped over into this very icy, cold, furious current river there. That is certain death, and that's exactly what happened. I read that they found one of the German soldiers in the riverside 6 months later. They really looked for them, but they didn't find one of the guys before 6 months later, stuck in a tree halfway up the river or halfway down the valley there. Eli is leading on into the rifle gallery, into the mountainside, and this is spectacular, to be honest. Look at this place here. So, are you ready to see a rifle gallery from the beginning of 1900? Here it is. This is absolutely stunning. They had toilets, they had a well, munition room, crew room, storage, kitchen, machine guns, observation post. It's all here. See here, it's just carved into the mountain. And all of this had one purpose, and that was to protect them from another enemy that they had earlier in the century. And when you see in here, you can see they definitely spent a lot of work to hollow out the mountain. See here? Here's a well. This is the water they needed. That would store up here. And you can see it's a beautifully cast concrete thing. And that was to make sure they were self-sufficient with water. The whole purpose of this that you're going to see here is a battle station. It's a battle station that would protect the bridge. And the bridge was very important even those days, and that is why they placed this here. This was the munition storage. And you can see they even made these runoffs to collect water so it goes out. And you can feel that all of this is made in a little uphill kind of configuration. That makes it easy so that the water can just flow out from here. In here, this was a crew room where all the soldiers could stay. Today there's some kind of bench arrangement here, I don't know why. And then this is one of the shooting positions. Let's be very careful here, Gilas, because I don't want to fall through the rotten wood here. Let me show you. This is exactly the purpose of the rifle gallery. Now you can see what they could see. And now you understand the importance of this position. And then you can twist it around and say, what if the Germans had come from that direction? Would they have successfully crossed here? To be honest, I really don't think so. Because this place was made with one purpose, to protect. And this is so heavy duty built that I really don't know how the Germans would have managed to cross over that bridge. But just a little thought, a little play of what if that would be the case? What would have happened then? All right, we're going to continue because this place has more small secrets. There is a separate room where they had the machine gun, and that is to the right here. You can see it continues in here. This was a separate room with a machine gun position. 2 machine guns were attached onto these metal spigots, and there was even metal doors. Can you see that, you guys? Yes. So right here, this is where you could stick down an MG, and if the conditions got too heavy, well, I guess you could take out the MG and then you can just shut that. That actually works today. That is so cool. And I guess it was only rifle munition that counted those days, so it was plenty enough. And again, you can see they can take out the whole perimeter on the side there. Let me see if this one covers the bridge even more. Yeah, down there is the bridge, and it goes like... And again, just imagine the local military here with some machine guns attached here. How difficult would it be for the Germans to cross that bridge? I cannot release that thought. I'm sorry. Nevertheless, let's continue. You can see everywhere you have these slits. That is to make sure that the drainage of the water continuously flow down the hill, down there. So then you come over here. You have the storage room for food. That is here. This is where they store the food, so they could be very self-sufficient. Please go behind me, guys, because I have the light here. And I think this is another system with machine guns and rifles. And you can see this one kind of is angled outwards. And then you see the first step is flat, second step is flat, but this one is tilted. So you can actually lay really, really down like this. And this is amazing. Very, very cool thing inside the mountain here. And you can see this is where we came from. And let's go to the last position. This is where they had a Scheinwerfer, that's German, and that is a searchlight or a light to light up everything down there. And I am amazed to see the beautiful view. That's what we do. We do the research, we travel, and we find and share these incredible locations. And thank you, Eagle Eyes, for reading up on this, for letting us have the opportunity to see this, because this was absolutely spectacular. You really did well there. All right, let's go and check out the last part of this rifle gallery. And it's very well ventilated, so it's actually not humid in here. It's like fresh air everywhere. This is where they had the kitchen. See that? Oh my goodness. The oven is still here. That is the craziest. That is absolutely spectacular. To know that these guys were here in the beginning of the 1900s. And look there, even shelves. They built shelves to have the equipment on. I've never seen anything like it. Almost looks like rock shelf, marble shelf. Crazy stuff. And then you have operation post with another light position. So they could actually shine the light in this direction, which is over here. So they really had the opportunity or possibility to cover a lot of area on the outside. And in that way, you can see the road is down there. And I guess they could also man this if something was to be attacked on this side. This is absolutely one in a lifetime experience, and I really, really enjoyed this. So next time you cross maybe a local bridge, think about, is there any history that you can learn from? Is there any event that you can kind of see took place? Well, there was certainly that here, and I have to say, what a spectacular piece of history. And that feature up there, the rifle gallery, thank you, Eagle Eyes, for letting us have the opportunity to see that, because that was absolutely fantastic. Well, perhaps I shouldn't have said that, because the next day, me and Eagle Eyes, we found something that is the most epic and totally fantastic location that we've ever seen before. What about barbed wire fence systems that's been there for 120 years? The first thing that meets us here, let me show you. That is pretty awesome. And as I said, this is 120 plus years old. Look at that. All of the fence system is still here. Finally, I'm doing a little discovery by myself. We think this could be... What is that? Is that a machine gun position? What about the most inaccessible fortress in the mountainside that you could ever imagine? And what about crossing dangerous railroad bridges to get there? This is like... Probably should see this movie, Stand By Me. Just like the scenes when you see these kids walking on the railroad bridge, just having a blast, exploring and checking out the world. That's so exciting. Well, that's something that you're gonna just wait to see, because that was absolutely spectacular. Thank you everybody. Thank you for watching, subscribing, commenting. Thank you for being a Patreon team member. Thank you for being so generous to help us out on the little PayPal thing with some donations. And also, as I said, thank you each and everyone who dedicated something so we could get some gasoline into the fuel tank and go out, and you, ladies and gentlemen, are now historical. But in a way we all are, because we are here together and we share great history. All right, stay safe, keep smiling, and we'll see you later.